That was a lot. Hey gamers, welcome. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. As you can see, well, there are two elephants in the room. I don't know how we're all sitting here, but as you can see or not see, I am once again depriving you of my face. That's the truth. I'm kind of out of my routine the last few weeks, and so when it comes time to record podcast, I just kind of forget until the last minute. And so it's, 8 o'clock at night, almost 9 actually, it's 8:50. And I just kind of didn't want to put on makeup right before I get in bed. So that's the truth. Also, you know what? To be completely candid, I'm breaking out everywhere, and I don't know why. I think it's because I ran out of my expensive lotion. And boy, was it expensive for a reason, because it is the only lotion that's ever not broken me out. So, because I'm out of that lotion, I've had to use a different lotion. And it's breaking me out like crazy. And so I just kind of didn't want to deal with perceiving myself on camera at the moment. It's the way it is, I fear. But anyway, let's address the second elephant in the room. Yeah, I forgot about Book of the Month. Like I said, I've been out of my routine. I had some things come up in my personal life. So, I just kind of haven't been on my A game recently. Made the decision to quit streaming. This was, kind of in the works for a while, but, I've had a lot going on. That's what I'm getting at. So, I forgot about Book of the Month. So we're gonna do that now, even though next week is May. So, it is what it is. Because I forgot about Book of the Month, I failed to finish last month's book. Not for, it wasn't the book's fault, I'm gonna be honest. It was my fault. I just didn't get to it. Let me give you a refresher. The book is You'd Look Better as a Ghost by Joanna Wallace. If you like Dexter, it's very Dexter-esque. I'm about halfway through it, maybe a little less than halfway through it. And in the first, few chapters, it already throws a curveball at you, which kind of keeps you hooked and interested, which is nice. Claire's our main character. She is grieving her dad. She's killing people she doesn't like. And then spoilers, she finds out that she got a little sloppy on one of her kills, and someone was watching and followed her home, and now she wants to team up. She wants a girl power moment. And Claire's not for that. Our main character, she doesn't want to do that. And so it gets a little messy. Not to spoil it, and also because, like I said, I'm halfway through, so I don't know how it ends. I'm not going to tell you anything else. But it is, if you are a fan of Dexter, you're a fan of, murder shows, serial killer books. This is probably your vibe. It is fun. It is an interesting read. It has taken a couple turns that I wasn't anticipating. So it defied my expectations in a lot of ways, and yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it because I haven't finished it, so I can't really give you a good rating, unfortunately. But I don't not recommend it. If you're interested in, a murder, it's not really a murder mystery because you know who's killing who. But, yeah, if you like a serial killer novel, I would recommend it. So that was March's book. Yeah, it's been a minute. That was March's book. And even though I haven't finished that one, I want to keep going with the Book of the Month, and I still want to open a book each month. So, can I promise that I'm going to finish them? No, as much as I would like to. that's just not really where I'm at right now. I can't make that promise, but I'm going to try. And I would like to still open them and give you all a book each month if you would like to read a book each month. And yeah, we can still kind of talk about them, go over them. So I have April's book here. And let me read you a little note my friend gave me. She said, "This book is one I read in high school. Oh, it is one of my favorites and has that 1980s flair with a twist. I hope you enjoy." Oh, okay. I like an 80s book. I'm not saying that's what this is going to be, but I like a Satanic Panic book. Those are pretty fun. My best friend's Exorcism, for example. Hold on. I'm trying to open. Okay. Oh, it looks like an 80s book, too. That's fantastic. Oh, it's really little, and it's called Deadly Detention by Eric Weiner. Not Eric Weiner. Sorry, sorry. I have the humor of a child, apparently, but okay. It's really cute. I like the cover. This is fun. It is very 80s. Let's see. It says, "When it comes to punishment, no one dishes it out the way Harrison High's Mr. Crowley does. But there's something even weirder than usual going on today. No one knows that better than the 6 juniors and seniors who are being kept after school. The doors are padlocked. All the windows are covered with wire mesh, and the phone wires have been cut. No one can get in or out. And somewhere along the dark and deserted hallways of Harrison High, a sadistic madman lurks, wanting to administer his special brand of discipline, the fatal kind." Okay, from that description, I am really hoping this is like a Scream-esque novel. I'm really excited about this one's really little. Let's see, it's let's see, 200. Oh, I'm seeing 219. Oh, sorry. 221. Okay, it's just over 200 pages. I'll leave it at that because I have a hard time flipping the pages for some reason. Okay, 222. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, 222 pages, but it's really small. It's like probably the size of my hand. It is not a very big book, although I do have long fingers, so take that into account. All right, so that is April. We'll see. I should have some time in the next couple of weeks to read this, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I will finish it this month. So yeah, those are the elephants out of the way. Are we good? You forgive me? It's okay if you don't. I understand, but that's the way it is. All right. Well, what do you want to talk about? Once again, I didn't really have a plan. I was just kind of gonna come in and yap for a minute, and I don't know. I feel a little guilty because my episode last week was rather short. I think it was like 14 minutes or something. It wasn't very long, and it was not recorded. It was no video, and so I don't know. Maybe I should go to just doing audio. But then I have my cute little background and everything set up. I don't know. So yeah. I feel a little guilty about that. But it is what it is. Can't change it now. But I wanted to give you a little bit more than just 15 minutes. Maybe like 5 minutes more, like 20 minutes. But I don't know. Here's what I was thinking about, actually. And I don't know, I hesitate to talk about this because I feel like it's kind of a controversial subject. But I was having a conversation with Waffles earlier, and it kind of got me thinking. A while back, I made a comment on stream that was like, if you are an influencer on the internet, you have a following, you have a responsibility to protect children. That's what I said something to that effect. And basically what I was getting at was like, if you know your two things. If you know your main demographic is children, and B, that you are specifically like marketing to children, you have a responsibility for like what you put out, right? And people got kind of upset with me, and they were like, well, like, their parents should be controlling, what they're watching, not, and I agree with you 100%. Parents should be controlling what their kids are watching. They should be very involved in that 100%. But if you are making stuff for children, you have a responsibility for what you put out there. If you know your target demographic is children, you market to children, you like advertise to children, and then you have porn stars on your stream, sorry, like, I'm gonna have to call you out on that one. I think that's gross. So I don't know, I was kind of thinking about that earlier because I think people see that as like controversial. And I'm not saying that if you're like an adult creator on the internet, I'm not even talking about like OnlyFans. I mean, like, if you are an adult creating content of any kind on the internet and you are not marketing to children, the people who watch you are not children, or for the most part, like, none of your content is aimed towards children. It's not your responsibility at that point. If a child stumbles upon your content but you haven't advertised it to them, that's different. Now, if you're Mr. Beast or, someone like that who clearly makes content for children, it is advertised, marketed to children, and you do some bullshit, that is your responsibility, actually. Sorry, at the end of the day, you marketed to children. And if you do some creepy shit, I'm gonna call you a creep and a pedophile. Like, that's just the truth. But it got me thinking about, like, I think TikTok is rampant with this. Okay. Let's use, like, the Bop House, for example. Barely legal girls, women, they're 18, but they're 18, freshly 18, 19, that kind of age group, who are basically advertising this lifestyle of sex work to children. Because if you go to their comments, the majority of their comment section is children. It is young teenage girls commenting on their stuff. Yeah, there's old men and men commenting on their stuff too, but they are clearly selling a lifestyle to young women. And I just think that is such a fascinating... It's not fascinating. I think it's gross. But I think it's one of those things that, like... I don't know. As a platform, TikTok knows that happens. And they're rampant with it. And they're not subtle about it either. And so, like, to not crack down on that as a platform is interesting to me. Also, some of the shit you can see on TikTok in general is crazy. I'm on a lot of, like, piercing TikTok, and I was watching some video at some point about just, like, different piercings, and someone in the comments said, if you look up, I can't remember what the female genital piercing is called, Christina piercing, something like that. But they're like, if you look this up on TikTok, it's just a full, like, someone's parts are just out on, just to see. And you report that and TikTok doesn't take it down. But people are saying things like, hey, maybe don't post this. And their comments get removed, or like, and it is just the weirdest. So you can see, what I'm getting at is, these platforms support this idea of, I feel like it might be a stretch to say grooming children, but at the end of the day, like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. The platforms and creators know what they're doing. They know who their target demographic is. They know who's watching their stuff. I just feel like you have a responsibility, and to push that kind of stuff when you know that children are who you're marketing to is gross. I don't know how I got on that. I guess I've been thinking about, like, even my own little corner of the internet that I accumulated streaming. Like, I felt a responsibility. I felt a responsibility to keep, underage people out of my Discord. I felt a responsibility to keep them, like protect them. Like, I just felt that because I'm the adult in the situation. And I just wish more people kind of took that seriously. And when I bring up that, like, criticism, particularly with streamers, I feel that way particularly about streamers. When I bring up that criticism, people don't back me. And I find that very odd. Particularly when I talk about, like, the really big streamers. And I bring up Kai Cenat a lot because he markets to children. Like, that's just the truth. Like, if you look at his content, it is marketed to children. Or teenagers, maybe. Not quite children, but preteen teenagers. And yet, he'll do things like having porn stars on his stream. So at what point do we hold people like that accountable for weird behavior? I kind of brought up the point, like, I feel the same way about anyone. If you market to children in general, and you're not making, like, education, you're not like Miss Rachel or something. Like, if you, Mr. Beast, for example, all you do is market to children, I find that suspicious. Like, people were like, oh, well, I can't believe that about Mr. Beast. I can. All of his content was for children. He's a grown man. That does not surprise me. At all, that does not surprise me. And so to hear people like, oh, well, I never would have guessed. Oh, I can. Absolutely. Like, that is a fork-found-in kitchen situation. Because why you, as a grown person, do you need to have your audience be children? Like, why? Yes, it's easy. Yes, it works. Yes, it makes money. But why? That's strange. That's weird. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like that's tangential, but that's kind of what I've been thinking about. I get a lot of weird stuff on TikTok, and a lot of it is young people who are selling this idea. I get two things. I get young people who are selling this idea of, like, how glamorous sex work is, which most people will tell you sex work is not glamorous. For people who are not in the top, 1% of OnlyFans creators, sex work is not glamorous, and it can actually be very dangerous. But I also get a lot of TikTok stuff that is like Kai Cenat, marketing to children. And, like, I don't know. I just think that is, I don't know what my point is. I think, okay, maybe my point is that's my opinion. I don't know. Is this gonna get me canceled? Is this cancelable? I don't know. I just think it's weird. I think it's gross. And I think that you have a responsibility to, not market yourself to children, I guess, if you're not making child-friendly content. And I hear this a lot with, like, again, this argument. Sabrina Carpenter's a good one. Because people will say, oh, I took my 5-year-old to Sabrina Carpenter not knowing that she was, like, she wasn't going to be age appropriate. Well, all of her songs are explicit. Her albums are explicit. So, like, at what point did you think it was okay for your children? So, like, on one hand, you have parents, right, who aren't monitoring their kids or, like, paying attention to the things their kids are listening to. But also, Sabrina Carpenter's made it very clear she doesn't make, music for children. So, the responsibility is off of her at that point. People know she doesn't make music for children. If you're a content creator, Mr. Beast, for example, you have never come out to say, oh, I don't make content for children. No, my stream is 18 plus. Like, I don't do that. My content is not for minors. You have a responsibility. Sorry, if you have not made that clear, the responsibility is on you to make that clear. Anyway, I'm done. That was a lot, but I don't know. I don't have a point. I don't have a point, and I don't have an ending, but that's kind of what I was thinking about, and let me know if I'm being controversial. Or not, I don't know. Alright. Later. Bye, I guess.